If you're a Nintendo fan, you don't want a Super NES Classic Edition console, you need a Super NES Classic Edition console. From bona fide classics like Super Mario World to the never-before-released Star Fox 2, the Super NES Classic is going to be the must-have product of 2017 when it officially launches in September. While most stores sold out of Super NES Classic pre-orders pretty much immediately, it's not quite time to panic. Yet. You can still get a Super NES Classic, it's just going to take a lot of time, attention, and patience. Or a lot of money. Your choice. Heading to eBay. The most reliable way to get a Super NES Classic is to buy one from scalpers on eBay. Just be warned, it's going to cost you. Consider how 2016's limited edition NES Classic, which was manufactured in even smaller quantities than the Super NES Classic, retailed at $60. Officially, it's sold out everywhere, but savvy buyers turned to eBay to sell off their extra consoles and ticked up the price tag to 3 or 4 times the original asking price. Judging by the few Super NES Classics already listed on eBay, it looks like that trend is going to continue. As of the making of this video, prices fall between $200 and $350, which is a mint higher than the MSRP of $80. A price hike like that almost feels like an assault.
Yeah, that's what happens, man.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's what happens.
But since everyone wants this console, sellers are going to milk you for every buck they can. If you do decide to go the eBay route, here's some advice. Look closely at the photos and make sure that you're getting an actual Super NES Classic. Between customized consoles meant to imitate the original Nintendo product and straight-up fraudulent listings, with a little close inspection, you'll be able to tell the difference between the new mini console with preloaded games and some imposter version. Amazon third-party sellers. You can also try to buy a Super NES Classic from one of Amazon's third-party merchants. As with eBay, these are individuals or small companies who got their hands on a Super NES Classic and decided to resell it, usually at a marked up price. The Super NES Classic isn't listed yet on Amazon's partner stores, but it should be once the console comes out on September 29th, 2017. As with eBay, make sure that you're getting the right product. If it somehow says games not included, it's a no-go, because this thing should include
over 20 awesome games.
Also, try to stick with merchants with high ratings and lots of reviews. Hey, you might even get free shipping thrown in on the deal. Run, don't walk to GameStop. If you live in a relatively remote area, check out your local GameStop. While the company sold out of Super NES Classics online almost immediately, the brick-and-mortar stores accepted pre-orders too. The catch was that you had to go to the store in person. By now, most GameStops in major urban areas have probably burned through their pre-order allotments. But areas that are less densely populated might still have a few pre-order slots open. Once again, however, be prepared to pay a little more than Super NES Classic's $80 asking price. GameStop knows that the mini console is a hot item, and some customers say that they had to buy pricier bundles with other merchandise to get their pre-orders in. Monitor the web. If you want to know when more Super NES Classic units become available, keep your Twitter feed open at all times. When the first round of pre-orders went live, journalists, publications, and gaming personalities quickly let their followers know right away. If someone beat you to the punch, that's probably why. Twitter feeds devoted exclusively to video game deals also helped spread the news. If more pre-orders become available, or if extra copies arrive on release day, those same accounts will probably let you know ASAP. Of course, if you look away from Twitter for a mere second, you risk missing the opportunity to score a pre-order. So you should probably only rely on this technique if you're already a social media addict.
Did you see the memo about this?
Same goes for those stock tracking websites. Sites like nowinstock.net routinely update to let readers know if and when more pre-orders become available. So refresh, and refresh again! Don't give up. Even if you didn't score a pre-order, you might be able to get a Super NES Classic in stores when it officially releases on September 29th.
Never give up. Trust your instinct.
Toys R Us, for example, says that it won't have any online pre-orders for the machine, while GameStop promises that it will have a few units available for walk-ins on launch day too. If you do decide that an in-person purchase is your strategy of choice, just make sure to get to the store early. Very, very early. Especially if you live in a big city. You won't be the only person there, and most stores tend to handle big releases like this on a first-come, first-served basis. Import a copy. This won't work if you want to be one of the very first people to own a Super NES Classic. But if you're in a pinch, you can always try to import a console from overseas. While the NES Classic is sold out in the United States, you can still pick up a Nintendo Classic Mini Famicom, the Japanese edition of the device, from the popular international retailer PlayAsia. You will be making some sacrifices, of course. If your desire for a Super NES Classic hinges on nostalgia, keep in mind that you'll be getting a version modeled on the Japanese edition of the Super NES, which looks different from the American version. Think outside the box. Everyone is checking big outlets like GameStop, Best Buy, and Walmart for the Super NES Classic, but that's not the only place you'll be able to buy one. ThinkGeek, purveyor of nerd-related novelty items, offered a handful of Super NES Classic bundles that lasted a little bit longer than the other options. Meanwhile, B&H Photo and Video, which mainly focuses on camera equipment, offered a few consoles as well. Once the Super NES Classic comes out, don't forget to check off the wall brick-and-mortar stores either. Last year, the NES Classic appeared at Urban Outfitters, which is primarily a clothing store for hipsters with money. If there's any kind of shop nearby that dabbles in cool and trendy tech, or appeals to those on the cutting edge of style, it might be worth asking the cashier or manager if they're going to have the Super NES Classic in stock.
What? You never told me that before.
It's a long shot, but who knows? You might strike hidden gold. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.